going into an interesting session. My name is Varadarajan Srivatsan. I lead AI analytics horizontal practice within Tavant. And here with me today is a good friend of mine, Chirag Agarwal from Novalis, who is a hands-on practitioner in generative AI and AI in particular, and he is making a material change in his organization with the cutting edge technology for the past 15 years. Welcome to have you here, Chirag. Chirag, do you want to share something about yourself?
Thanks, Sri, and thanks for inviting me here for this talk. Yeah, I'm Chirag. I'm doing advanced analytics for last 12 years, and we have been recently into this journey of exploring generative AI and trying to figure it out how we can use it, and wanted to share some insights based on the experience that we have.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you mentioned that, we are trying to figure it out. I think you are not alone. I think a whole lot of people, and I would honestly say the entire universe is trying to figure it out. And in my opinion, it is not just the enterprises who is trying to figure it out. It is also the individual who is trying to figure it out with the change that is happening. But to set a bit more context in terms of what we would be chatting, I think for the audience, there is a big thing, a big talk all around AI, and people are using the terms very differently, right? I think there is the term generative AI, there is a large language model, and then there are a lot of acronyms. There are technology players. Google is having its play, OpenAI and ChatGPT and Wally and 4.0 and 5.0. There are multiple terms that are going in the world, and not all are familiar. Do you want to take a second to demystify that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the right question to begin with, because what I've seen currently is that a lot of people are getting confused between machine learning, generative AI, LLMs, and then again, it's not the fault of anyone. It's just that the technology is evolving so fast, so quickly. People are not getting time to figure it out what's happening around them. And let me talk about all these three terms and how do they fit into each other. So let me start with the machine learning. So machine learning is the bigger circle, or the main circle, the biggest circle I would call. And within that circle, there is a deep learning. So it's like a small subset or a smaller circle within machine learning area. And now within that smaller circle of deep learning, there is a generative AI. Now within the generative AI, there is a section or a small circle which is LLM. So what I would call LLM is basically it's the smallest one. It's one of the section of generative AI, or it's one of the section of machine learning. And what LLMs are basically doing. So in terms of generative AI, right? Generative AI is basically generating any type of new content, be it text, be it image, a video, anything. And the models which are basically generating the text, they are inputting the text and then they are outputting the text. Those are called as LLMs. And some of the examples of LLMs are, for example, ChatGPT 3, which is the most popular one out there. So that is falling into that category. And now there are some newer models, for example, ChatGPT 4, which is falls into a multi-model segment, which is like out of LLM. So when I talk about generative AI, they're using all the algorithms of generative AI and created a multi-model product. And what do I mean by that is they have combined. So now you don't have to just get text to text output. You feed into text, you can get a video out of it. You feed into text, you can get image out of it, and you can do reverse as well. Like you feed in a picture to the model, and the model will come back and explain what is happening into the picture. So that's the approach that's the chat gpt, or basically what we call them as a foundation models for generative AI. has been taken. So I hope that that helps understanding all these different terms.
Absolutely. And the the AI as a component has been in existence for a longer time, so to say. Like for example, when we were typing in an email, even 4, 5, 6 years ago, it'll start completing what you're typing, right? It is a form of AI. But what has changed, in my opinion, is that the intelligence and the finesse with which these things can predict. It is not just the characters in that context. I mean, it can even sense that context, take it to a level where it is a lot more smarter, right? So now here we are in an interesting juncture, right? So, typically when a new technology comes in, um, you know, companies such as Tavant, and we are in the forefront, and the new technology is not widely available, and we would go and advise companies how they could use. And we would also come up with a thought process or a point of view for how people could take advantage of this technology. But here in this space, I mean, the technology is available to everybody, right? It's available to large and small enterprises alike. It's available to common people alike, right? Now, I think that people are running towards, hey, race to use case. That's what I call, would like to term that as, people are trying to figure out what use case can I use this, right? Now, the question to you, Chirag, is that in an enterprise context, I mean, you are in manufacturing, part of a manufacturing company, Novalis, right? So how enterprises are approaching, what do you see, around you in terms of how people are approaching in an enterprise context with this capability?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And again, just to point out, like you use the term rightly, that people have this technology available. So this is a cutting edge technology. Generally, what happened in the past is the companies who are in the advanced stage, they will have the technology, and then it will trickle down from organizations towards the end user. But the times have changed. Recently, the new technology is available to the end user first, and now users are trying to find out how to use it. At the same time, organizations are exploring how do we use it, how do we get value out of this. And now to answer your second question, the main question basically is how are we using in the manufacturing setup. So to answer your question honestly, we are trying to find out, we are exploring so many bunch of different things currently with this technology, as in, like, how do we use this technology to create the value. And so we basically fall into a segment of the company which is into the middle. So there are some companies who are not using this technology at all, because it kind of creates risk, because you kind of lose or leak your information on the internet. And so there are some companies who are not utilizing this technology at all, at least in their enterprise setting. Then there are some companies who are using it in the restrictive setup, and then there are some companies who are just open to it, just use it. So I would say the manufacturing companies are more like in the middle sector segment, wherein we are trying to figure it out. Can we create a smaller bot? Like, we tune the foundation models and make it available to the audience or to the company employees. And the employees can basically, from any department, be it let's say from cyber team, be it from a legal team, be it from manufacturing, like from the plant team. What they can do is they can ask a question, or they can basically use it to improve their productivity. So the way we have currently, the organizations are using it is to improve their productivity. For example, if they have a document of 40 pages, they can get a very quick summary out of it. We have a video of, like, we have hours of video, and if someone really wants to go and look through that video for a particular type of pictures or count of pictures, those similar pictures, it takes hours. And now this technology is helping us to get that done much faster. So there are a bunch of different ways that we are using it. And again, the way I call it restrictive is because the way we are exposing this technology to the users is that we have basically created our own environment of where we have installed ChatGPT, and it is not exposed to the internet. So anytime people are communicating or sending the sensitive information to ChatGPT, that information is not leaked on the internet, and that is what basically has kind of helped us push this technology in the organization, because there was so much concern every time we were when we were trying to talk about this technology. The main concern was it's going to leak our information outside. The same data will be used to retrain the models and will be available to everyone. So basically, we might lose on the our IP, and that may lead into losing the cutting edge technology that we have. So a lot of that we basically worked initially to make sure that nothing is going on to the internet, at least from the company perspective. So we basically created a new separate version of it, which is kind of used within the company, and that has helped a lot to drive the use of this technology within the company.
Fantastic. I think that is similar thing that we are doing for our clients of Tavant. We are contextualizing this technology and trying to enable them in a smaller way. And where our efforts are going in is, if you look at ChatGPT, it had trained all possible text that is openly available up until say 2021. And but it does not include the company specific data, right? It is not trained in it because that data is never available to others. So, we as Tavant, we are enabling creating that smaller bots, particularly in an enterprise in an exploratory context. It's still not many people are willing to go live, but in exploratory context and certain use cases, train with the data. That is where the bulk of the effort is going, and then make it available, keeping it secure. The second part that you talked about, I think this is extremely critical. And I also have the opinion that the technology is so powerful that the concern of privacy, IP, etc., is going to, in few years, going to work itself out, either through regulation or through coming out with a security model to putting a fence around the crop, etc. Right. So those kind of things are going to happen. So an interesting question. I mean, so now this tool is available to anyone and everyone, right? So including children. So do you think that an age appropriate chatbot is going to be necessary?
That's a great question. And I hope when I was kid, I had this technology available too. I could have done my essays very, very quickly. But anyways, never late, never right. So I think for kids, they will be exposed to technology, because that's the way we are going, right? We are moving into the next into the future. So whether we want them to be exposed or not, they will be exposed to this technology. So now the question is, what how do we make sure that they get the right output from these technologies, or right answers, or they utilize it in the right way, and then basically do not create some imagination or hallucinations what these technologies currently have. For example, like, so we start asking the question to ChatGPT, it gives us some good answers, and then at one point, the moment it starts giving the wrong answer, after that it gets into that wrong training and starts getting or giving wrong answers continuously. So for kids, yes, they should get this. They will be using this technology. At this point, are we ready for it? That's the question. Maybe not yet, because we do not have a full confidence on this new technology. But yes, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, when the accuracy of the models have increased, like to maybe 99.9% or so, when we are sure that the answers what it is giving to the kids is correct, I think that would be the time when I think we should give or put this into the hands of kids. But yeah, I mean, it's all about the matter of time. It's not, I would say, whether we should give it to them or not. They're going to get it, but when we should basically push it more to them.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm also of the opinion that um, exposure is imminent for all population, but certain population, certain bracket, supervised exposure is going to be necessary in its current form. Because it is learning. What this technology is doing, in a nutshell, is mimicking human thinking. Human don't think just words, right? They look for patterns, they look for context, they look for various images, sound, video, all sorts of things together, and it is trying to mimic as we grow. So it is learning. So it is not learned enough to be age appropriate without supervision in its current form, but eventually it is likely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. We don't want our kids to learn wrong answers at this age, right? We want them to learn the right answers. So maybe the books are the right thing at this point. But yeah, going forward, absolutely agree 100%.
Yeah. So, coming back to the enterprise context, right? You mentioned, I like the theme, right? We are figuring out, right? So we, as a consulting organization, I think that this is the figuring out part has to be a collaborative effort. I mean, we strongly feel that. We as Tavant, we bring in people. We try to keep a peer group setting where knowledge can be shared, not necessarily going over the boundaries of trade secrets or anything, but how this challenge is going to be addressed. So in your opinion, these kind of forums where corporations come together to have a discussion, open dialogue in terms of how to handle, how to put the fence around the crop, etc., would that help? Maybe industry specific, maybe even beyond industry. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Shri. Um, Especially like again, this is a great new technology, and we don't know how good it would be. Like again, in as we move forward, it's definitely going to evolve. But at this point, how do we utilize it? And I think I guess the forums like this, wherein we can connect with the different business and industry leaders, and then maybe find out a way to create a basically what we call as a roadmap for this technology, as in like where we want to use it. Maybe for some non-critical tasks we can use it right now, and then maybe as the technology is evolving, we can start using it for more like IP related stuff. Like so, we have to basically create a or chart a roadmap for this. And so maybe some early examples, which could be like, for example, maybe replacing the existing chatbots with chat GPT chatbots, because they can probably provide a better information, or they can provide a better human related answers. So maybe that could be one of the area. Some of the other areas where I see, at least in the beginning, where it can be used, is that ChatGPT has been trained on everything on the internet. So it's trained on Wikipedia, and again, Wikipedia doesn't have like the 100% correct information. So this chatbot, this application is trained on the good data, bad data, all kind of data from the internet. So what we have to do is, like, if we want to use it, so these are like the pre-trained foundation models. What we can do is train them for internal use, create a smaller subset of the trained models. So for example, what we can do is, maybe if, let's say, in terms of manufacturing setting, we want to there is a lot of silos of the data. For example, a lot of different data are available in different places, and people don't know what data is where. So maybe we can create a chatbot where people can ask a query about, like, they want to, let's say, work on maybe work order data for the downtimes, and can they get the name of the database in the table from the chatbot, for example. Maybe we can expose some of our downtime data, and then we can probably create some analytics out of it very quickly. So I think this could be some early use cases that we have seen that these models have achieved a good accuracy or good success. And I think these can be replicated in various different industries where the risk of getting the wrong answer is very low. And as we advance in this technology, and when we have a good confidences in technology, we can probably get into more critical, like maybe creating a new alloy. Like it tells us, okay, what portion we should include of the metal, and we create a new alloy which has a better strength, better tensile strength, etc. Right? Maybe we can create a new molecule. So it has a tremendous application in the future. But again, we need to find out when we want to do what with this application. So we definitely need a roadmap.
100%. And what this does is that, I think this generative AI, or the new way of AI technology, is making smart people smarter at this point of time. And those smart people are using the technology to be a lot more productive, a lot more effective in what they do, and venturing into the areas they probably have not ventured. When you're talking about a lie, I'm not from that background. But today I could ask a question saying that, hey, when somebody is trying to figure out an alloy, how many failures have happened in which composition? So I can avoid all those composition, and then I can go to my own variation. Now that might work, right? So totally unrelated subject. Anybody can get that knowledge. So with this thing, with this knowledge, how do you think, your hiring decision, or, enterprises, not particularly yours, but enterprises hiring decision, what type of skill set that they will be looking for doing analytics or enabling digital transformation in an industry? I think it is going to go through a wave of changes. What do you think those changes are likely to be, in your opinion?
I think great question. And this is like something that probably the change will come in the future, especially around like hiring decisions, right? This application is so new right now. Companies are still, as we said, that exploring this and finding out how it's going to use it. Can we use this technology for augmenting what people are doing currently, or can we automate some of the tasks that people are doing currently? And I think that's where the decision lies. That what do we want into the future? So in next 5 years, can we reach a place where we can say that, okay, we can probably do X number of tasks completely automated? Or maybe in next 5 years, we are still at a situation where we say that we can do it, but it still requires human supervision. And so I think that is something will happen as the technology progresses. And based on that, a lot of decisions will happen. And then again, in terms of hiring. So if I talk about, let's say, 5 years down the line, if the accuracy or the expectation of the models is such that that it can do a lot of automation without any interference or human supervision, in that case, yes, the hiring skills will change. For example, let's say if today I'm hiring a person for coding Python, and so right now the developers are using ChatGPT to write their code, but they still run through it, and they see if it is good, if they have to fix something, they have to add something, right? So they have to look through it. Now, once I have good enough confidence on the technology that whatever code that it is generating, maybe I need less coding or less developers in the future. So maybe I have, let's say, a team of 100 developers. I don't need that. I probably going forward, I need maybe just 10 of them, because a lot of coding is done by maybe Copilot or by these uh, other generative AI tools. So there are like many possibilities. So definitely the hiring decisions will change based on how the technology will evolve in the future and how much we can rely on it. And based on that, I think not just, so this is just one of the example of developer, right? There are many other examples where we have to think what amount of people we need to perform a certain task where we needed a lot more earlier.
Fantastic. I think from Tavant, I mean, we are already started thinking in the direction, and we are trying to see how best we could add value in terms of what we do and how we do it. All right. I think what we do is changing, and how we do it, how effectively we do it, is also changing. So uh, we we are trying to stay ahead in the curve, and trying to bring value to the people that we interact. Hey, Chirag, great chatting with you. It was very informative to share knowledge with you and share this time here. Thank you very much, and thanks everyone for tuning in to this webcast, and stay tuned for more events to come. If you have any question on the content presented here, feel free to reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to take those questions and answer them offline. Thank you, Chirag.
Thanks, Sri. Thanks for inviting me.